And away we go. So, if you were Carl Winters, is there any way in hell that you would sleep in that cave with the Baker brothers, let alone get into the fucking car with them when you leave Pet Pack?
Right? Like, what the fuck was that guy thinking?
Also, I would be like, hey guys, I'll be right with you. I just gotta run and go grab my my coat for my car.
Yeah, and my gun.
And be like, BRB, and then never return.
No, there's no fucking way. I mean, I get it. He's, you're looking for your wife's killers. Play it incognito, I guess, is what he was going for. Like, get the information so he knows exactly who he's up against. But, dude, once you're in that cave, come on, man. Come on. What are you doing? Well, long before you got in that cave. What are you doing? No.
He was bonding with them for a minute while they were killing kangaroos, so I guess there's something there. That was probably
pre-cave, right? No, that was after.
After the cave. Probably because there was a kangaroo that tried to suffocate his dog. That's a callback to a previous episode. So, if you've been keeping up, good for you.
God damn it. Dude, at the very most. In his situation, it's like, you didn't kill it. And they're like, you go kill him. Here's a knife, right? They give him like a knife to go kill it. And he does.
Like a hatchet.
And he does, right?
Yeah.
He kills it, and that's when they leave him. Like, oh, he knows so much.
Yeah, just take a nap here.
And he does. He just goes to sleep.
You gonna go to sleep? You look like you're about to go to sleep.
I'm gonna go to sleep thinking about him going to sleep on that fucking acid trip of the desert. Good lord.
Sounds nice.
No, it does not. God. No. I haven't gotten anywhere near those crazy fucks.
Yeah. This room, like,
read the room.
My wife died in Australia? Well, she shouldn't have gone to Australia.
Yeah.
Them's the ropes, folks. Oh. Welcome back to the Jony Jawscast, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Johnny Horror, and tonight we are rounding out our discussion on Razorback, the 1984 Aussie exploitation horror film Jaws ripoff about a killer warthog in the outback. If you have not tuned in to the previous two episodes in which we discussed the things we liked about the film, the things we didn't like about the film, we talked a little bit about the history of the film, the characters in the film, performances and such, please do yourself a favor. Start at the beginning and then work your way to here.
Yep.
You know? That would be ideal, but then again, it's your world. We're just living in it. You know, maybe you start at the end. You can't tell a story unless you know where it's going. So there's that.
Tarantino, that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck it.
On this voyage with me, we are out on the water, looking for sharks, looking for warthogs. It's my partner in crime, my best pal, my co-host, and my first mate on the Jony Jawscast vessel, Brian Calvert. Ooh,
We talked about this.
You got an upgrade, you know?
We talked
It's
about
not,
is it an upgrade?
it's oorah. Yeah, come on.
Oorah's a marine thing. We talked about
I
this.
know, but do you want do you want that? Is that what you want?
I mean, I'm not a marine.
Are you a 15-year-old girl at a Diplo concert? Is that a thing?
I'm
Is
more
Diplo a
that
thing?
than I am a marine, so.
That's fair. That is fair. There is a wider gap.
Aggressively. You know, I'm just gonna lean into it, you know?
Oh, there it is. So, where we last left off, we were out at sea. We found a big-ass great white shark. We decided that we needed a bigger boat, but cooler heads prevailed. We did a little bit of shark hunting. Didn't have a lot of success. So, we got ourselves a couple of bluefish, threw them on the grill, had ourselves some dinner, had ourselves some drinks. We're drinking to each other's legs, and we start telling stories, start swapping recipes, and then everyone's having a good time telling jokes, and someone decides to get real and talk about when 1,100 men went into the water. In this segment, we are going to discuss the source material behind Razorback. Now, this particular segment might not be applicable to every film that we cover, but if there is a novel in which the film is based upon, we will definitely cover it. And in this case, there is a 1981 novel called Razorback, in which the film is based upon. So we will discuss a little bit about this. We couldn't find a ton on Razorback. Neither one of us have read the book, but there wasn't any Cliff Notes. There wasn't a Wikipedia page for it. There wasn't really any sort of breakdown about the book besides this one page that we found on Pulp Serenade, commentary on books and movies by Colin Gallagher. So shout out to Colin. Thank you for giving us something to talk about in this segment. Much obliged. So Razorback by Peter Brennan, 1981. Let's see what we have here. Razorback is the second novel by Peter Brennan, whose first novel was a tennis thriller, of all things, called Sudden Death, written in 1978. While the movie is a Jaws-esque story of a vicious animal terrorizing a community, the book is a beast of a different sort. A giant 378-page bloated mess. Brian, why don't you take the next bit?
The novel begins with a promising introduction about a kangaroo and her baby taking its first steps, a pregnant ewe, and a monstrous wild boar who has been driven to cannibalism by drought and a lack of food. Unfortunately, after the promising introduction of the titular killer boar, the novel derails itself almost immediately. What begins as an eco-thriller horror novel dissolves into a missing person smuggling soap opera with too many competing storylines, too many uninteresting characters, and not enough wild boar action.
Now, before we go any further, one could make the argument that that is a apt description for the film itself.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of scared to, know how deep into all this other nonsense the novel goes,
Yep.
They cut out even more Razorback than the film does. And
yeah, fingers crossed here.
that's kind of a bummer because I feel like the film doesn't have enough Razorback. All right. One narrative thread is about Beth Winters, an American journalist who goes missing after she arrives in Australia with her sister Ginny to put an end to the slaughter of kangaroos which is driving them to extinction. Ginny and Beth's estranged husband... Okay, wait. What?
No, you got it.
No, okay. It just sounds like it's Ginny and Beth's
their husband.
But, okay, here we go. Ginny and Beth's estranged husband individually investigation into Beth's disappearance. Another storyline is about a professional hunter, Jake Cullen, whose son was eaten by a monstrous razorback boar. Much like how no one believed Lindy Chamberlain Creighton when she said that a dingo ate her baby, no one believes Jake. Not even his wife who left him. So now he hunts boars and waits for the day he can take his revenge. There's also another revenge story. A recently fired Pet Pack dog food employee who wants to expose the company's diamond smuggling operation.
Whoa.
And then there's Ginny's unrequited lust for Beth's husband.
Oof.
Who also used to be Ginny's former lover.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Yikes.
And then there's the Pet Pack executives who would do anything to prevent their smuggling operation from being exposed. Occasionally, Brennan will dip back into the world of the baby kangaroo who is trying to outrun the monstrous boar, only to leave that much more interesting storyline to focus on the people who are never developed enough to care about.
God damn.
Brian, go ahead and take the next segment.
The movie Razorback is an example of an adaptation that smartly simplifies the novel and winds up being superior to its source material. The diamond smuggling is out it's out the window as the in-law romance. Instead, the story is simply about a journalist who is attacked by a ravenous, gigantic killer boar while on assignment and the subsequent search for her killer. The script was written by Everett Desroches, who also wrote another amazing ecological horror film, Long Weekend, 1978, in which nature strikes back at a couple camping in the woods, as well two other horror classics, Patrick and the Road Games.
Road Games.
And the Road Games. The film was stylishly directed by Russell Mulcahy, whose background was a music video director for Duran Duran and Elton John. The cinematographer was Dean Semler, and when you see the film's bold desert colorscape, you won't be surprised to know he also shot Mad Max 2: The Road Warrior, 1981.
While I can't recommend tracking down the original novel, the movie of Razorback is a real thrill ride full of desert delirium and an amazing animatronic boar that is both terrifying but at the same time utterly awesome. The movie turns into reality everything the book should have been about, a monstrous boar with an unquenchable bloodlust. Perfect viewing for October.
There you go.
This was written October 19th, 2020, when people have nothing better to do.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That being said, Colin, thank you for your contributions, because we didn't have anything to talk about this book.
Man.
And honestly, this sounds like another great, tie into Jaws, where you get this sort of sleaze with, the Carl character having some sort of an affair bit with Beth's sister.
Right? I want to read the book.
Yeah, I kind of want to as well.
I'm just so curious where there's so much extra.
Yeah.
I want to know where it all ties together.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking, what is it? Fucking Pet Pack, is that
Yeah.
Pet Pack has a mine, like diamond smuggling.
Yeah,
aspect.
I'm interested to see, because in at least in the book it sounds like it's a much more official operation than this kind of like backwoods two brothers.
It makes a lot more sense as to why they have a fucking cave.
That
movie.
That adds up too. That being said, it does sound like they did exactly what Jaws did, which was like, all right, let's trim the fat and just make this a monster thriller story.
And the fact that like Beth's sister had already dated the husband, now he's her husband, but now she's dead, so it is like a
that just sounds like a fun, soapy, like gross, like very much along the lines of the whole affair between Ellen Brody and Hooper in the original Jaws novel. Like, I love that bit in the Jaws novel because it's so different than the movie. It's so different, and Hooper is such a sleazebag.
And he's like a young gun.
None of the characters are likable. Like, even Brody. No. Even Brody's like checking out like
asshole.
And I mean, God, you can't like I can't sit here and be like, yeah, I've never looked at a pretty girl before, like lusting over her, but like to be inside someone's mind like that, the way that they are in the Jaws novel, it's just like, yeah, you see like Brody like looking at these tennis chicks, and you're like, God, he's not someone.
Making it really hard to like you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not a hero.
Just the way he's written,
Yeah, you're not a hero.
And part of that again is just because it's calling back to just our flaws as individuals, as human beings. We're like, yeah, we don't like that part of ourselves, so I don't want to see that represented in fiction for someone that's supposed to be the hero,
Right. But
so,
they don't give you any options in that book. It's interesting.
And that's a good. They don't, but what they do in Razorback is they don't quite give you that, because like Sarah might as well be Ginny, Like, Sarah might as well be this sister that he has this romance with, because he ends up having some sort of romance with Sarah anyways in the movie.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what about your wife that you came here for? Maybe maybe if there was
fever dream, everything's fine now.
Again, maybe if he almost had like.
Yeah, he was begrudging for death yet.
If he was like, if there was like a begrudging like, hey, I want you because I'm like heartbroken and I'm distraught, and like you wanting me makes me feel better about that fact. Like,
if he had known how she died, he didn't know yet.
Yeah, like there's no guarantee. Like Jake was like, yeah, she was killed by this boar, but
no, there was no proof.
There's no proof.
It was another messy scene
but they have too much of like a genuine romance, and I mean the actors have good chemistry, so that's just there's that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't bode well for this guy.
No, it does not. It looks horrible.
Yeah, you're supposed to be here trying to find your wife's killer.
That's why you're here.
Yeah, so maybe I don't know.
Oh, this This chick I fever dream stumbled
Like,
upon
what if
while she was
like,
showering.
the next frame
New
over
love.
from the end of the movie, like, it freeze frames on Carl smiling, and then it just cuts to, like, Beth, like, walking out from the back of Pet Pack, like, Carl?
Yeah, right.
Is that you?
I'm alive.
They got me, like, the bar, like, ripped my leg off, but then they got me and they threw me in this cage,
Right.
like... Who is that you're holding?
Yeah, it's horrible. It was literally like, it seems like a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's atrocious, man. The transition is just real rough.
So, before we move on, this is the official synopsis for the Razorback book. Australia, the outback. It was a cracked red land. A cruel land where tusked predators and prey locked in a cycle that predated man. It was in that land that an American conservationist, Beth Taylor, vanished, and where her husband must go to a venture to find the men that kill and the way that they kill, to learn the primitive ways of the Razorback, the cruelest predator of all. Only then would he know who and how and why if he survived. Alright, I don't like that description at all. It's a little too melodramatic for my taste. Right, here, okay, this is the tagline on the book, okay? It says...
Oh, it's the best.
Only desperate men meet the enemy on his own terms. Only vengeance keeps them alive. Wow. Very melodramatic.
Mine says, only desperate men meet the predator on its own turf. Only vengeance keeps them alive.
Oh yeah, we got two different things here.
Ooh, dirty.
That's kind of fun, huh?
Yeah.
I think your cover's better than mine.
That's cool.
Oh boy.
I like your typography more though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's got a little. I definitely like the print.
Yeah.
Here with the little dash.
Right. That's cool.
I that's kind of fun.
This one's supposed to look like a metal razor blade. Yeah. It's got the little glint.
It's very
and the
80s.
boar's
Very
behind
80s.
It. Yeah. Super 80s. Yeah. Whatever.
All right, gang. Well, we just finished telling stories. But, you know, our boat's being hit left and right by the same fish, apparently. We need to put out fires. We need to pump out the boat. And he just ate the light. So I think we're going to go outside and maybe put a couple of yellow barrels in this fish and call it a day.
Here we go.
So here at the Yellow Barrel Awards, we have a couple of different prizes to give out, huh, Brian?
Yeah, we do.
Brian,
we do.
This is, I think I'm going to let you take this away. Brian, why don't you go ahead and start? I'll do a little bit of an introduction here.
Yeah, please.
This first award is one that we came up with on our first episode, watching Jaws the Revenge. The character played by Michael Caine, his name is Hoagie. I love this character. Brian despised this character. And from there on out, we just had the Hoagie Award, which is Brian's least favorite character. So, Brian, please tell me who your least favorite character in Razorback is.
It's going to have to be Dicko, for sure.
Yeah.
He's a dog killer. He's awful.
Yeah.
He's just trash the entire movie. Everything he fucking does is made to just be trash. And then the icing on the cake is that on an open road, he sees his dog and he fucking runs it over on purpose. And even his fucked up, twisted brother Benny is like, why'd you do that? He's like, why not? Fucked. Dicko. Trash.
Couldn't agree more.
Hoagie Award.
Congratulations, Zico. You are the winner of the Hoagie Award.
Garbage.
Now, this next award, again, was created out of watching Jaws the Revenge, in which Brian thought the character of Michael Brody, as played by, oh God, what do I always forget his Lance. God, why? It's Lance. Shit, it's pissing me off. I'm pissed. God, I'm so pissed. It's Lance. Hold on, everyone. Anyone who's ever watched horror is just like, yeah.
The last name right now.
Yeah.
Ooh. Gibbs?
No.
That might be Gibbs.
Lance Guest. There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you. Lance Guest played Michael Brody in Jaws the Revenge. And Brian thought he looked like Barry Gibbs from the Bee Gees.
Because he does.
That's debatable.
It's not what I thought he looked like.
So we created the Barry Gibbs Award, which is probably my favorite award out of all these awards. It's the character that Brian thinks looks like somebody else. So, Brian, why don't you go ahead and hand out the Barry Gibbs Award?
It's going to be for Carl.
Yeah.
He's number one. There are two in this movie that were.
There's a runner-up. There's a runner-up. Why don't you start with a runner-up?
All right, let's see.
Who's our
runner-up, which is going to be Beth Winters, right?
Yes.
Beth Winters goes to Sigourney Weaver.
Yes.
Hard in the paint.
Yes.
Sigourney Weaver.
Very much so. If the gal playing Beth Winters in this film had red hair. Yeah, it is. If Judy Morris had red hair in this film, she would have easily passed for Sigourney Weaver's stunt double.
Yeah, aggressively.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our runner-up. Who's our winner?
Yeah, taking first place for Carl Winters, aka Gregory Harrison, is going to go to Glenn Howerton. Aggressively. And if you don't know who that is, it is Dennis. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That is probably my favorite Barry Gibbs Award. I asked Brian
to a T.
Brian was like, we were talking about this off mic, and Brian's like, do you want to know my Barry Gibbs Award? And I was like, yes, of course I do. And he told me, and I think I laughed for a minute straight. And after I got done laughing, I told him, that is your best Barry Gibbs Award. I wish to Christ that you had not told me so I could have heard that on camera, because that is the best thing I've ever heard. He is 100% a dead ringer for Dennis from It's Always Sunny. I'll never be able to not see that now.
Right? It's a problem.
And it's so frustrating because
Glenn Howerton
is a comedic genius, and but he's also a dramatic actor. Like, you've never seen The Strangers, and he plays a bit role in that, and he's serious, and it's a good bit. So I could totally see him playing this character.
Well, he was also on Razorback, so
yeah. There it is.
It's about
about
Pumbaa.
The Barry Gibbs Award, it really is the Mandela effect. just the more you say it, the more it becomes reality. You know, I don't know what to tell you. Carl Weathers as portrayed by Glenn Howerton.
You know?
Moving on, we're gonna go to our next award that is No Overtime, which is the best effect in the film. No overtime is a reference to our boy DQ from Jaws 3D.
Yeah,
He's always got his boys working on
D for Dennis.
all the. He's got his boys working on all the construction over there at SeaWorld. All them practical effects that go on at SeaWorld. So, Bri, what do you think is the best, like, effect, the coolest use of just movie magic in this flick?
I think it just had to be that, like, either the silhouetted lighting or the scene with the silhouetted lighting and the flares. Like, and I don't think there's a lot to it. I just think it looked really fucking cool.
Yeah, I think the probably for me the split second shot of the Razorback on the ridge is the best.
Yeah.
Use, and it's not even like really effects so much as it is costume design, because they just took the biggest pig that they could find.
Oh, right.
Threw tusks and a blanket over him and just did that faraway shot. But that's the movie. That shot is Razorback to me. Just that split second shot. And I think, you know, for as great as all the practical effects are when you do see the boar and everything, I think it looks really good. I just don't think anything compares to the foreboding dread that split second shot really puts onto you.
Right.
I think that's definitely the winner for me.
Especially since it's out there and it's not like attacking anything.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Yeah.
It's out on the horizon.
Yeah.
It's not looking at her. It's not looking at anything. It's just doing its own thing, and it's only there for a second.
Yeah.
It's such a good scene.
I would say that a good runner-up is probably the skeleton horse scene. Like,
oh yeah, I love that shit.
I think that's just great. It's so much fun.
Yeah, that was cool. That was some trippy shit involved in there.
And our fourth and final award is the Doll's Eyes Award, which is the best kill in the movie. And I just feel like we have no surprises here, and we both have the exact same best kill, which is Beth Winters in the car.
Yep. Hands down. Case in point.
There's no questions asked.
So that's the one in the movie.
It's it is the highlight of the film, with the exception of that dream sequence.
Yes.
And that shot on the ridge, like, Beth's death sequence is just it is the peak of the film. Like, it just never reaches that level of intensity or that level of horror ever again. So
it's scary. It's surprising. It actually has, like, some depth to it. There's actual, like, multiple scenes and, like, some sort of detail into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sneaks up on you a little bit.
Yeah, very much so.
Longer than you think it will.
You do not think that she's gonna die then.
No.
There's just no way that she's gonna die.
Going. Yeah, no. It's the death scene of the movie. 100%.
Do you think there's any way in hell that we get a scene like that nowadays in a horror movie, where you kill off that sympathetic of a character who is a woman within the first 30 minutes of the film, when she is projected to be our protagonist?
No, of course not. No, because they star someone for that role.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. It would be fucking cool if nowadays they could star someone for that role and pull that off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I talked about in our first episode. She is the Janet Leigh. She is the Marion Crane in Psycho. She's the most like I don't know. It's Junie Morris. Like, I don't know Junie Morris from anything else, but that is the archetype. Like, that could have been played by Sigourney Weaver. That would have packed. Can you imagine? If that was Sigourney Weaver? This is, what is this? This is 5 years. This is 5 years after Alien. When is Aliens? Like, okay, hold on here. Okay, Aliens is 86. So this is after Alien, but before Aliens. So she's big enough from Alien that this could still be like, you put Sigourney Weaver in there and you're like, oh, well, she's the girl from Alien.
It would explode.
And then they kill her and you're like, what the fuck?
Right.
Like, that would have been insane. That would have taken this film to another level. Absolutely, 100%.
Had they cast her.
I mean, again, like, they probably don't have the budget. I mean, she wasn't at the heights that she would be after Aliens, because after Aliens, Sigourney Weaver is a superstar.
Yeah. Fucking early 80s superstar.
But
cinema.
But yeah, that
movie for 80s.
She does that. That is the archetype. That is the Marion Crane. We have our heroine that we've been following for X amount of time, and then we kill them off in the first quarter of the film. Yeah. And that's shocking, and it's good. It's just unlike Psycho. Right. This film doesn't live up to the rest of the movie, you know?
Yeah.
But,
sadly, it could have had a good... I mean, it is still a cool heavy hitter, but...
There's some great parts, but I just don't think it ever meets that level of ferocity, you know?
Yeah.
But... the yellow barrels are all dished out.
That's right.
We're kind of on our last leg. The boat's sinking. And we have one shot.
That's right.
So, smile, you son of a bitch. In our final segment, right before the boat sinks and we are on our last leg, we are going to give our final thoughts and our ranking for Razorback 1984. So, Brian, why don't you take it away?
Right on. I'm going to change it a little bit. I had written it down earlier, but I'm going to change it up. We've been talking about it for so long. I'm going to give it a solid 6. I had it at a 6.5, but I would actually drop it down a hair. I'm going to give it a 6.
Different for you. Usually you bump it up.
I usually bump it up. I'm going to drop it down a little bit. I'm going to give it a 6. It was a great creature feature. Not my favorite creature feature to date, but I still loved it because it had an over-the-top story. There's a lot going on, and the wild cinematography really helped push it along. Solid, good twists along the ride, and yeah, it's a good land shark, and an absolute
land shark
must-watch. I think if anyone likes Jaws, they should watch Razorback, because it's just fucking stupid entertaining. Yeah, I don't think it's anything absolutely phenomenal, but I think it's a real fucking fun story, and it's 100% worth a watch. So it's a good land shark film.
Land shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very, very close with you there. I think there's a lot to appreciate about this film. I think the swings that they take it is a very ambitious movie.
Right.
It is a very ambitious movie, and whether or not it's a home run really depends on the viewer. I feel like. I watched this film for the first time in pieces, and then I think I watched it for the second time with you. So I've really only seen this film like twice, plus our little brush up here.
Yeah.
Right before we watched it, which we just kind of breezed through certain scenes, but fuck me, man, it is just from a visual standpoint, it is masterfully crafted. It is a beautiful film to watch.
Yep.
Beautiful. Every scene, there's just something in it where you go, God damn, that's good to look at.
Yeah.
I like all the acting in this film. I think all the acting is really good. I don't look at anybody. And this is very much in the height of you can get away with bad acting because it's just a horror movie.
Right.
And
in the 80s.
Yeah, and no one in this film is a bad actor doing bad acting. Everyone is doing good acting.
Yeah.
Characterization falls short, but that's more direction and script related. Mm-hmm. And I'll even give them the benefit of the doubt when that is, source material and time related. I think if they had more time to develop a slightly better script, more time to film so they're not stressed out about, oh, we got to get this effect done, if we had more time to work on characterization, to take these beats, to be like, yeah, maybe that wasn't the best decision to make that joke there.
Right.
I think you could have a slightly better film. But based off the film that we got, I thoroughly enjoy it, and I think this is what I said after I finished watching it, that it is probably the best, like, through and through, just, like, outright Jaws knockoff.
Yep.
There are plenty of films, Deep Blue Sea, The Meg, hell, even Jurassic Park to some degree, that owe a debt to Jaws. But as far as films that flat out rip off Jaws, Razorback is probably the best.
Yep. Because
it still tells an interesting story while still paying heavy homage to Jaws. And manages to have a few twists and turns with a scary fucking monster in it. Right. Like, I think the Razorback is still scarier than the alligator from Alligator. I do. Like, it just has the way it's shot, the way it's lit, the way we never really fucking see it. Mm-hmm. I do think it is scarier. So, I'm going to be a little bit more on the generous side. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 7 out of 10.
Right.
I just, I have a ton of misgivings about it. I really, really do. But at the end of the day, as far as an 80s creature feature that is, part of a subgenre, I think it's great. I have so much fun with it. The characters are, likable, even if they're pretty flat, which is rare to have just flat characters that you're like, you know what? They don't have a lot of depth, but I like them still. Yeah. I don't want these people to die. And yeah, it's a film that I will absolutely go back to, like, annually. Like, there's a solid rewatch value to this film.
That I agree, for sure.
Yeah. It's an easy flick to just, like with you. Like, the night that we watched it, it was just like, hey, let's just watch this monster movie. Yeah. That's all it was,
Even I give it a 6, and I would still rewatch it.
Yeah.
All the time. Because of the cinematography. Because every scene you look at still has so much diversity into it. I'm like, yep, there's a lot of depth in here. I rewatch this 100 times and be like, oh fuck, I forgot about the scene. Oh fuck, I forgot about that scene.
There's a lot of things that draw me back to it. You have the cinematography. You have the attack scene going on. You have the
cool.
Dopey Carl just
it's cool
climbing up on a windmill and then passing out when he sees Sarah's boobs, and you have the brothers, which as disgusting as they are, there is like a weird charm about them. You're like, I fucking hate these guys and they're disgusting, but they are part of their world. So well, shit, I guess that brings us out to a solid 6.5 for the Jony Jawscast on Razorback.
There you go.
Guys, if you haven't seen Razorback, I'm pretty sure it is currently streaming on Shudder. If you don't have a Shudder account, get a Shudder account. I think it's like $7.99 a month, and you get unlimited access to a ton of horror movies. I mean, the goods, the greats, the not so goods, the not so greats, and the Razorbacks, ladies and gentlemen. Like, it's worth it. No free plugs for Shudder or Ginger Beer.
Unless is asking. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I think that is gonna about do it for us here at the Jony Jawscast on this this episode. Brian, what do you got going on in your world? Do you have are you making art? Are you doing designs? What's going on with you?
Constantly, both, all of the above. That's.
If someone wanted to reach out and get a little bit of graphic designing from you, how could they find you?
That's Instagram, Calvert Illustrations, CALVERT Illustrations. That's where to find me. That is the place. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, we are gonna hop aboard a couple of barrels and paddle our way back into shore. Yeah. I am Jony Horror of The Jony Horror Show. You can find me on Instagram at The Jony Horror Show. I feel like if you're listening to this podcast, you probably already follow me. But if you are listening to this podcast and you made it all the way through, fuck yeah, you rock, and we appreciate you.
Love.
I think our podcast has been doing a little bit better lately, and hopefully that's because we've been doing a little bit better lately. We're trying to be a little bit more consistent, a little bit more concise. I hope you guys like the new format. We're going to be taking this particular format and doing that moving forward here on the Jony Jawscast. We had a lot of fun kind of doing it this way.
Hell yeah.
So I think that's us mapping our way through Amity Island and out to the open ocean. I think that's going to be the way we do things here over at the Jony Jawscast moving forward. So once again, thank you guys so much. Please follow us on Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify, give us a like, give us a rating, just tell the world that we're doing a good job, because we're having fun over here, and we hope you guys are having fun too. So I guess I've said thanks like 3 or 4, 16 different times at this point, but farewell and adieu. Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
Oh yeah.
And we will see you motherfuckers on the flip side. Adios, muchachos.